Every move they're making in the realm of public technology has some integrated form of surveillance, and Cyber Polygon is no exception. While they're trying to do all of this to create all these systems, break down the old system and bring in the new, the goal is surveillance, full control of us. And creating smart cities with the Internet of Things technology is already heavily involved. I'm going to introduce you guys to IARPA's Haystack program. IARPA, or known as the U.S. Intelligence Advanced Research Projects Activity, and the Haystack is your city's big brother AI. This is the system that controls the AI systems of the smart cities. Haystack stands for Hidden Activity Signal and Trajectory Anomaly Characterization. And its purpose is to use AI, sensors, and cameras that are connected to the Internet of Things technology to establish normal movement models across times, locations, and populations, and to determine what makes an activity atypical. To put it simply, the AI system of Haystack monitors every individual and digs into the database of your information prior. And if you are deemed as moving abnormal or atypical, then they will send a red flag and a signal saying that you might be a threat. It's about studying us, our patterns of life, and it's going to recognize who you are based on your movements. IARPA's goal is to model population movement patterns around the world to predict atypical or altered patterns of movement. Whatever or whoever is marked as such is investigated. So if you are moving in an unusual way, an atypical way than you normally do, you will be marked and investigated for it. Doesn't that sound great? Like I said, they know more about you than we know about ourselves. Here's Jack Cooper, the program manager of Haystack. He will give you a better idea of what this thing is. Meet Haystack Jack.
Hi, I'm Dr. Jack Cooper. I'm the program manager for the IARPA Haystack program. Haystack stands for Hidden Activity Signal and Trajectory Anomaly Characterization. So we think of movement as kind of a lens on how we view the world. The movement that leads up to a human-driven event, like a terrorist attack, what are those patterns that are indicative of something's about to happen? When you're going down the highway during rush hour, you expect there to be lots of vehicles there because you've made that trip many times. When you're going down the highway during rush hour and there's nobody there, you have a sense of this doesn't make sense. This is anomalous. We can use this type of information to predict how things will likely go, right? For planned disruptions to normal movement, construction, changes to infrastructure, what happens when certain things go offline. One way of thinking about it is with respect to privacy. Today, you might think that privacy means going to live off the grid in the middle of nowhere. That's just not realistic in today's environment. Sensors are cheap. Everybody's got one. There's no such thing as living off the grid. If we can instead understand data and movement and really characterize that sense of things that fit in normal and things that are abnormal and stick out, then instead of disconnecting, it's just about understanding what's resident in the data, what algorithms are capable of, and really reframe that discussion of privacy from a no data to just a understanding what's in our data.
You guys seeing it? Basically what he's saying is, even if you go and live in the middle of nowhere and you live off the grid, doesn't matter, they've got you. And he also said there's no such thing as privacy anymore. Now it's just about understanding what data they are collecting about you. This is something that I've warned about. Doesn't matter where you go, where you live. If you try and hide from this, you can't. You can't. They've got it now. I mean, even if you go live in a cave somewhere, they can still grab your data while you're living in the cave. It does not matter. This is just what it is now. This is the world that we're in now. There's no hiding from it. And if you guys ever seen something like Person of Interest or something, that's basically what this system is. That's what this system does. Is it keeps tabs and collects data on every bit of you and studies you. It's literally a thing that studies you. So if we take a look at some of the other quotes from Cooper here. In another statement, Cooper said, this is his quote, "With Haystack, we have the opportunity to leverage machine learning and advances in AI to understand mobility patterns with exceptional clarity," about using AI to gather information about how you're moving and all that. He then said, "The more robustly we can model normal movements, the more sharply we can identify what is out of the ordinary and foresee a possible emergency." Again, it's about collecting data, and the AI will dig into your personalized data to determine if what you're doing, how you're moving is different, if it's atypical from what you normally do. And again, they will start paying attention. They will mark you and investigate. A quote from IARPA Director Catherine Marsh. She is on record saying, and this is her quote, "Developing these new sensors and detectors, as well as thinking about clever ways to collect multi-model data to reveal what our adversaries are attempting." We're their adversaries, guys. Reveal what our adversaries are attempting to hide from us is at the very core of what our collection programs are aimed at doing. We are the adversaries. When they say reveal what our adversaries are attempting to hide from us, they're talking about us. We're not in their club. We are their adversaries. This is about collecting information about us. IARPA, with its Haystack program, has already awarded contracts with Raytheon Tech, which is U.S. defense and military complex, L3 Harris, which is a defense contractor, STR, which is a consulting firm, Kitware Inc., Leidos Inc., which is another defense contractor, Novator Resource Solutions, which is AI and robotics, Deliote, again, Deliote, they're there again. They've got a contract with it. And Raytheon BBN, which is space. They're involved with the space stuff, also connected to the U.S. Defense and Military Contract Group. They're all hooked up with IARPA's Haystack program. You guys get it yet? Yeah. And with all that, with the tracking and the tracing, the Internet of Things, watching us and everything, we're already seeing some tangible repercussions of having everything connected to the Internet of Things technology. I'm sure you guys have seen this before. Amazon shuts down customers' smart home for a week after a delivery driver claimed that he heard a racist slur through the doorbell. Basically, the driver thought, or he claimed that somebody said a racist slur through their doorbell, their Ring doorbell system, and he complained to Amazon about it, and Amazon shut down every smart device in the home. You have to remember how many things are now connected to the smart device. Your AC unit, your lights for your house, garage door, all of that stuff can be connected to this, and they shut it down. They shut down the dude's house because somebody complained about it. This is what happens when you connect everything. This is what happens when everything is connected to the Internet of Things. It's not only watching you and surveilling you and tracking you, but they can also shut down your house. This is the little brother that's under the big brother that's controlling you. You've got big brother on top who is basically giving word to little brother Amazon here to basically shut things down if you don't fit their systems. And so I've got a video here that explains it quite well, a lot better than I can explain it, because I'm sure you guys are sick and tired of hearing my voice already. So I've got a little video here, and you guys might, when I say what it's from, you guys might be like, seriously? That's what you're going to do? Yeah. Just check this out. We're going to take a look at a cutscene from a video game called Watch Dogs 2. This is predictive programming at its finest and explains everything so well and how it connects. Yes, this is a cutscene from a video game, but this is exactly what we're seeing now. This is predictive programming. This is from Watch Dogs. Check this out.
In 2013, Chicago realized the promise of smart cities with CTOS, a citywide operating system merging big data with surveillance, security, and transit programs. With a few hundred lines of code, hackers were able to hijack its central servers and cripple the entire grid. Many believed the attack would be a killing blow for smart city development. They were wrong. Coordinated from the heart of Silicon Valley, CTOS 2.0 has been implemented across the United States, ushering in the Internet of Things. 6.4 billion connected devices now serve as collection points, mapping and recording our daily routines, making a more secure and more invasive system. But who else is listening? Big Brother no longer works alone. Thousands of little brothers monitor and aggregate your every move, building a complete digital profile of you to be bought, sold, or stolen in an instant. Toys study your children, reporting their play habits back to marketers. Appliances, consoles, and home security systems give corporations a window into your private life. Control of your vehicle and mobile device can now be breached remotely by anyone at any time. You may think that you are immune or underestimate the risk, but your digital shadow is already compromised. Insurance companies use algorithms to monitor your life habits and limit or deny coverage. Health providers determine if your cancer is worth treating. Search results and news feeds are skewed to bias mood and influence your vote, engineering social uprisings on a massive scale. You are now less valuable than the data you produce. This is the new reality. Going dark is no longer an option.
This is the new reality. That's a cutscene from a video game. But that is exactly, I mean exactly, what we're seeing now with the Internet of Things technology. That's exactly what we're seeing. Down to the point of these toys that you buy your kids now are watching and tracking movement. You're talking about all your smart devices and everything are allowing not only Big Brother to get in and get a view of you and how you're living and all that stuff, but it's also being relayed to places like insurance companies and whatnot. We've talked about that. If you eat too much meat, no insurance for you, no health care for you. If you do this or you do that, your social credit score is not high enough, they can shut you down. They will not give you health care. They will not give you insurance. This is stuff that we're seeing now. This is exactly what we're seeing. And that was predictive programming at its finest. Your house, your car, the things in your house, your wearable stuff, your health trackers and whatnot, everything like that is now getting a window into your private life, gathering your information and data, and it's all connected through the Internet of Things. And it said it right there. Going dark is no longer an option. It's true. We just heard it from Jack Cooper there. He said it. There's no longer being off the grid and hiding out in the middle of nowhere. They've got you that out there too. This is just the reality of it. We are watching the building, the construction, the uprising of the beast system, the Antichrist beast system. And it's important that we understand, guys, the more we see this come online, which this isn't, we're talking about it, oh, it's coming in several years, they're working on this, it's eventually going to, no, this is stuff that's going online right now. Literally, as we speak, these systems, these programs, all of this stuff is coming online to form this beast system. And as Christians, we've got to understand that when we see these things, we need to be ecstatic and joyful in the Lord, but we also need to have a fire in us because we're that close to getting out of here. If the beast system is this close to being formed and ready for the Antichrist to flip it on, that's just, you got to remember how close we are to actually being taken out of here. You know, we look at all this stuff, we look at all the information and all the things that are happening, and usually the human inside of us, the first thing that we tend to react to, the first emotion is we start getting afraid. What are we going to do? How am I going to go about this? How am I going to get around this? What am I going to do? I don't want to get involved with that. I don't want to get involved with this. And it's like, we got to be able to shut our human emotion down with that and let the Holy Spirit just kind of just take over and just not worry, not doubt, not fear, and understand that our escape through Jesus Christ is almost here. That's the important thing to understand with all of this. Because while this is scary for anybody who's watching that doesn't have the Lord, for those of us who do have the Lord, who are watching, this should be a joyful thing to watch, because it means we're almost out of here. But we're still here, so we still need to continue to occupy with the gospel and get as many souls across that line as possible. But don't be afraid by this stuff. Don't be afraid, because he said when we see these signs start to come to pass, begin to come to pass, look up, because our Redeemer is almost here. So it's important to understand that, guys. We just got a few more things left, and we're almost done. So we just watched all that Internet of Things. We know about the Haystack program, how it's connected to DARPA and all these defense contractors, and how that's connected to the WEFPAC and the FS Isaac, and Russia's involved with the WEF on all the cyber security and stuff. All these tangled webs, they're all working together. But it's not just the U.S., guys, because this stuff is also everywhere in all other countries who are all moving with lockstep as well. So coming out of France, French Senate votes in favor of public facial recognition pilot. Now, the French Senate on Monday voted in favor for facial recognition tech in public. This will allow judicial investigators and intelligence services, that's vague, to use the biometric identification tech in public for at least 3 years. They say this is going to only be in effect for 3 years. We know that's a load of hooey, because they always say it's only for this long and then it turns indefinitely. Facial recognition is already used in various places in France, but this will supercharge the technology and make it more widespread. This is not just United States, guys. I know when I talk about this stuff, a lot of it has to do with U.S. companies and whatnot, but it's not just here. This is stuff that's everywhere globally. They're all pushing it forward. So don't just think that this is only U.S. stuff. This is going in everywhere. Even places like Iran. A couple weeks ago, I just talked about how they've got biometric cameras now on the streets of Iran that are scanning for women who are not wearing their head coverings. And the cameras are used to recognize through biometrics who they are so they can do what they do. We're not going to get into that. So it's not just here. This is everywhere.